I was talking to my friend the other day, to Sego, and we were talking about like heaven and shit. And I was just like, yo, like if heaven's real, right? Like, what do you think it would be like? You think we'd all have the same version, or like it'd be different? Like to like
Yeah.
like my heaven would probably be like.
It would have to be different because not everyone just has the same.
That's
you know what I mean? It would
so,
have to be different, right?
Yeah. So I was just trying to be like logical, not even like what I believe.
On some Plato and Socrates.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, shit. And then I was like, well, shit, mine would probably be like some bad bitches. Like mine would probably be a skate park with a restaurant in the middle and some bad bitches and fucking weed birds flying around, shitting out weed. I was like, oh, there's a nug. And it would just be so happy, and all my friends would be there, and we'd be eating and hanging out with people, and it'd be lit. And then I was just
thinking,
would be
like, a dark and silent room
with fire coming out everywhere. But no, I was just like, damn, bro, like, what is honestly stopping me from building a skate park with a fucking restaurant in the middle of it? And you know what I'm saying? Like
some like mechanical birds, like
what is really stopping me from creating? I'm like
money.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, then this is how you start to really like transform everything. Is like just realizing, okay, it's cause and effect. Like, I could have this dream life. Everything there I can buy with money. Mm-hmm. So okay, boom. How much money would this jet actually take? Okay, $400K to do this, to buy a plot of land and pour a cement foundation and build a skate park and a restaurant in the middle and put gas line, whatever the realistic steps to do all this shit is. It costs that much? Okay, how do I make that much? Like, okay, well, let me make 100K 4 times. That's easier to think about. How do I make 100K? Boom, okay, I gotta, let me start a food truck. You know what I'm saying? Boom, one music festival, I'll probably make like 20, 30K. So this summer, I'm gonna have this food truck go there. And then boom, after that, I'm gonna buy 4 food trucks. I'm gonna have my 400K in like 2 years, bro. And have a fucking skate park with some badass bitches around it with a fucking restaurant in the middle. You feel me? Yeah. And I think when you break it down like that, anything is obtainable. It's possible. And then once you do it and you get it and you're standing in your fucking skate park with a restaurant in the middle and the bitches around, you're like, bro, hell yeah, let me show other people. Like, yo, what's your dream, bro? Like, what's your fucking this? Oh, yeah. So, look, first thing you got to do is figure out how much that, Yeah. And it's just, that's what I'm
breaking down. You're breaking down the problems in little mm-hmm. fractions of pieces instead of being like skate park with a restaurant in it. Well, that's impossible. Goodbye. I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yo, because it goes back to what you were saying. Like, you used to watch like Rob Dyrdek on MTV, and like he would be promoting all these brands. But like me as a kid personally, I would watch Rob Dyrdek and be just watching it mindlessly. Be like, oh, mm-hmm. that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Because I'm living this life. I have these parents. Like, obviously, like, I don't see that happening to me. Like, who's fucking Rob Dyrdek's not gonna come knock on my door and be like, yo, you want to chill with me? Mm-hmm. So like, I feel a lot of people, like, especially the youth, when they see, people on TV or whatever, they think it's out of reach. Like, you have to be mm-hmm. brought up a certain way. You gotta like be around that. You gotta have the connections, and obviously they don't have that right now. So they're like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna work a 9 to 5, go to school, like, mm-hmm. The shit that your parents want you to do. But yo, like, you breaking out of that and being like, fuck that, like, I'm gonna break it down, like, how I'm gonna get to this, I'm gonna do this.
Well, you know what it is that one of the things that stops people from doing things in terms of pursuing their dreams is that if there's not already a societal structure in place for that thing, mm-hmm. then it's quote unquote unobtainable. For example, if you were to tell someone, say that like medical school didn't exist and someone's dream was to become someone who knew how to cut people open, take out malignant tumors, and then sew them back up without causing them any excessive harm.
They would say they're brain dead.
It's impossible. Yeah. But because there's a scheme for it, everyone's like, well, that's clearly possible. Mm-hmm. But then if you say, oh, I want to be a music video producer, and there's no real cutout way, copy and paste way for you to do it, everyone mm-hmm. will say, well, that's impossible. But what? You know what I mean? It's only impossible, quote unquote, mm-hmm. impossible in the eyes of people because there's no structure. It's not. They don't, in a sense, feed it to you in a silver spoon. You mm-hmm. have to make it yourself.
You know what they say? And they say the game is to be sold, not told. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. It's like you're not gonna get told the answers. Yeah. Like, it's gonna take you looking for a long time, and over time of not finding them, you're gonna create your own answers. And that's really the key to this shit, bro. Like, no one's gonna tell you shit. It's what they don't tell you. It's what you learn when you're like, why the fuck won't this person help me? Yeah. And then you realize, oh shit, just thinking about it, maybe they won't help me because they see me as a competition, or they see me as, okay, so now how do I maneuver when I see them, if that's the case,
Mhm.
you know? And you just learn these lessons from just like no one fucking with you. But I wanted to add to what you were saying, how you were saying you were like watching it like mindlessly, right?
Yeah.
Like I was watching it mindlessly too, right? But the difference is you have to go back and connect all that shit, you know? Like life to me is like you get a new little bit of insight, and now you need to think about everything that just happened to you, and now think about it with that insight too. You know what I mean? And so it's like I remember when I learned about like addiction, you know, like a lot of my like family members are like addicts and shit. And so I was just like, okay, like I probably gonna have some type of like before I thought it was just they were just a little weird. You know, like this person did this family member did that. Like, damn, my family's crazy. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a thing. Like this is a problem, you know? And then I'm like, okay, so why do these people have that? Oh, because they were in this place. And I'm like, damn, I'm in this place too. I'm right here actually in the same exact spot. So let me think about what I need to do to be in this place and not get hit with that one.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm going to know when it's coming. And so I feel like a lot of it is just even in your own life. You don't have to meet Rob Dyrdek, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to, but listen to what he says and then find that in your own experience, you know? Like a lot of these motivational speakers and shit, they're just giving you the thing to look out for, you know? Like find this in your life, you know what I mean? Like I think I always say it's kind of like untangling some headphones, you know? Like everyone's shit's tangled up. So like if someone gave you the key to how their shit was untangled, it's not going to work for yours, you know? But if you can just slowly start pulling back the layers of like, all right, what's wrong with me? I'm not focusing. Why am I not focusing? Well, I'm smoking weed all day. Like, how do I expect myself? Like, and then it's like, okay, well, why did I even let myself get to that point in the first place? Yeah. Okay, so clearly I'm allowing myself to like be a little self-harm and look the other way, you know? Like really go into yourself and be like, what am I doing, you know? And once you have like full reins on that, bro, like everything, like whether it's drive, anxiety, like passion, you can control all that shit. Yeah. You know?
100%.
100%, yeah. Drive, anxiety, passion, anything, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all controllable.
Yeah. Even just like desire, love, all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yo, what was I going to say? The thing is that people come into life in general with almost like a defeatist attitude of, I have a set limited amount of options. I can only do either this or this. For example, my whole life, I can only do school. It's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing that works. Anything else is just absolutely out of question. And that's just, you have blinders on like a horse. It's just completely closed off to every other possibility. And this whole thing, I always talk about this whole thing of like college and stuff, or any of those, normal regular type of job. It's all pretty new. This society and like industrialization and technology, it's all pretty new. Pretty soon, and we think that it's permanent because our parents did it and maybe their parents did it a little, but then the generation before that, they didn't do that. Yeah. And with the internet, everything is going to change. Yeah. Everything, absolutely everything. And people with AI too, everybody's just about to become obsolete. You know what I mean? So you could. Another thing too is that I was talking with Jason about this. You have like a limited time frame, and if you could just step back and look at it and be like, well, I actually only have this much time. Yeah, it seems like I have 80 more years. Yeah. But really, if I step back, I see I only have this much time, and I already spent this much of it doing something that I really did not enjoy. To have something that changes my happiness by maybe a fraction, if that. It's like you got to rethink how you're living your life, because you're not promised tomorrow at all.
100%. Like it's funny, like when people are always like, oh, you're so young, and I'm like, yeah, but I could get like killed tomorrow, bro. Like it's literally on. And I think it's just because I went through some shit where I've seen a lot of shit like that, to where it's a lot more realistic to me, to where it's like, yo, like people think it's sweet, bro. Like it's not sweet. Like you could really get caught up and have your life taken from you like that. Yeah. And it's like people like go about their day like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that next week. Like, bro,
yeah, like I was saying,
you are so crazy to think you are gonna do that next week. And I think that also has to do with like how I think a little bit. Is just like I'm just so grateful for right now, what I can do right now, that it's like that's all I think about. Like, okay, I don't care if I'm not gonna have money next week because I might not be here next week. I got money right now. We're trying to do this right now. Let's figure it out. You know?
You can't even hold on. Say you're thinking something or you're feeling something. You feel anger. Or you feel like this is a good idea or this or that. You can't even hold on to that thought for more than 20 minutes. Now imagine you think you're going to hold on to some idea of how you're going to live your life in the next 5 years. I mean, yeah, you can plan things. I'm not saying you can't plan things, but it's not as permanent as you think. Everybody's like, this is set. Or like, oh, I'm a doctor now. I'm a dentist now. Or I'm a lawyer now. Like, I'm set. It's like, who said you're set? What if everything changes out of nowhere? It's like coronavirus style.
Yeah, but see, the beauty of it, right? This is where I think a lot of people should find their confidence from.
Yeah.
If you don't have any, is if you can get good at something, you can get good at anything.
Yeah.
Like it's not seen this way, but getting good at something, like, should have a better name for it, like a skill that we practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be like a class we take, how to get good at something, because when you learn how to take lessons from failure, like, I guess that's the more proper term, it's, you can figure out anything, you know? Like, even if I fucking, like,
it's like lessons from failure on the path to
yeah, like, bro,
self-mastery.
if you're fucking, like, blind and you're trying to hit a dartboard, like, throw that motherfucker and just listen, you know what I mean? Did that shit hit the wall or did that shit hit the fucking dartboard, you know? And just keep doing it to where your arm is perfect.
Yeah.
You'll be a blind motherfucking throwing bullseye.
Yeah.
And that's how it is like, with anything you can do that shit.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, like, I can learn some shit tomorrow and be a master within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
If I want. But you have to want it. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to work a 9 to 5, give 50% of my energy to that, have a shorty, give 25 of my energy to that.
You're screwed.
And then try to pay my bills,
You're
and
screwed.
then I'm going to be a rapper. Bro, you got to, and it's silly, you know? And it honestly is silly. Like, that's why I try to put people on game realistically. Like,
Yeah, you only have so much energy for each day. And if you spread it too thin, yeah, you can be, it seems like that you can be the jack of all trades and master of nothing.
Yeah. And I think what I'm trying to be is like the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know, like, have a solid foundation and let everything just stand tall on that and be like, whoa, this kid has a TV network and a clothing fucking conglomerate that is helping, like, run other brands and you know what I'm saying? And then we have a magazine and we're not only doing ours, I could go on and on about, like, anything I want to do. If I'm doing a podcast, bro, and I have enough money, I'm gonna make my own mics.
Yeah.
And then everyone I inspired to do a podcast, hey, bro, this is the best mic.
Yeah.
Everything's money, a business, you know?
Yeah.
And once you, like, get hip to that shit, you're like,